there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 10 of the anime series Blade and Soul. And this was interesting because, it's pretty much following up on the lessons that Karen has put Aruka through in losing this girl in the previous episode that she got very close to and everything like that. What I like about sort of having her relive all of that loss and the shock of, being taken in by the parents of a girl she basically murdered is it's allowing her to experience this all over again. The shock, the emotion, the feelings, without the taint of Karen's hands being involved, so far as we know. Because if they were, if her vengeance was kind of what this was all revolving around, it might not affect Aruka down deep within her soul. She's been affected, but she's kind of gotten, reactionary. She's trying to protect herself, and she's trying to get away. I mean, she's got people chasing her wearing these almost lion sun god-looking headgear masks. And it's interesting to me because, the impetus is that essentially Karen is setting people on her heels. She wants to make sure that Aruka is always going to be, with pain and, suffering on her coattails every step of the way. But this episode really allows for her to understand compassion and forgiveness on an almost religious level. The mother of this couple basically takes her in and wants to help her and honor her daughter's memory by not trying to attack or take the life of their daughter's killer, but embrace her and help her heal and all these things. And the father is the one who's really mulling it over and having trouble doing so. But there is a turning point for him as well where you think he's basically going to do what he can to, honor his daughter and tell Aruka, this is what you need to do. You need to give up the blade. You need to give up the sword. Renounce the sword, which goes back to something Master Han once told Aruka. We saw in a flashback in a previous episode, which is interesting because it just layers the story that much more. But again, because Karen's hands are not involved in this particular scenario, it's that much more impactful. It's that much more poignant when, of course, this guy, he notices the glass bracelet that he created in honor of their daughter. They both wear one, and then they make a third, which the mother gives to Aruka. But when he notices his has broken, he takes it as almost being a message from beyond this mortal coil from his daughter that she would be very upset if he just lets it go and doesn't try to take vengeance for her honor. And so deciding to shoot her, essentially, there's a storm and everything, and basically the mother has taken Aruka to their daughter's grave, and she is going to lay down her weapons once and for all. But this guy has a sniper rifle. He's going to shoot Aruka because he feels that's his only recourse. And of course, the mother has last second thoughts, if you will, to tell Aruka, do not lay your swords down because maybe you'll do good, or whatever she's thinking in that moment. It's kind of unclear because she jumps in the way, of course, inadvertently, and the father ends up shooting his own wife. And so, she dies relatively quickly thereafter, and then once confronted with this, he offs himself, and Aruka is just there horrified at, the idea of life not being able to be reborn and all this kind of stuff. You can't fix the dead, as he says to her. And all of this poignancy that is now played on her conscience rebounds with the last few seconds of the episode where we see Euron and Gigante going into this sanctuary of sorts where there's a flame in the center of the room within which is the body of Veril Jin. Using a feather almost akin to the Phoenix Downs in Final Fantasy, I wonder if it's somewhat reminiscent to that, they expose this feather to this flame, and we basically see after some moments Veril Jin's hand makes a fist. So this implies that they have done exactly what no one else in the world can do. They've brought Veril Jin seemingly back to life. And of course, there we end with the promise in the preview for the next episode that the judgment is coming. The battle going on between Aruka and Veril Jin is far from over, and that is some pretty big doings. What's interesting as a footnote is when, Hazuki and basically Luana go and find Karen, who's kind of listless and I guess mulling over the vengeance, the sweet reward she should have had some sort of recompense feeling after doing this, doling out this sort of judgment on Aruka herself. It doesn't seem like it's quite as fulfilling as maybe she thought. And when they go to confront her and ask her what the hell is going on, and the subject of Antarctica's whereabouts gets brought up, she's very much like, I wonder what happened, as if, is she concerned about Antarctica still because of that den motherly relationship they've had up until this point? It's a very sort of interesting reaction for Karen to have because of what she has done to Antarctica. It's like maybe that was the limit for the moment of her plans, and she's curious if Antarctica is still alive out there somewhere or not. So it's very interesting, that particular line, and again, it just adds that much more depth and layer to this series. I can't wait to see where we go from here. So yeah, otherwise that'll be pretty much it for me on this. I hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.